Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on PoliWine, where we like to take a deep dive into stories pulled from the media and have a fun time while breaking it down. I'm Jillian, and let's get into it. I am getting over a cold, so certain things are going to end with the duh sound. So, apologies, but let's get into it because there is so much to get into. So here in the DC metro area, it has been a scorcher for the last 7 days. It has been in the triple digits. It has been hot. It has been humid, sticky, soupy, super gross, and I'm ready for a little relief. And we're going to get a little breather tomorrow. So they say, and maybe a little slight break, but then back up to the heat. So please be prepared and hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. It can be dangerous out there. But speaking of hot, let's work our way over to Italy in Venice. Yes, it is the festivities of the years. It is the Sanchez and Jeff Bezos wedding. It is celebrity packed, billionaire packed, and wow, it is quite the kickoff. Not only do you have an influx of celebrities and you name it, who's going to be there for the wedding, you also have some protests going on. Not only just protests that there's too many tourists in Venice, but also tourists that are protesting Jeff Bezos and his wealth and his money and you name it, whatever they may have an issue with. There's all different protests going on over there. But it's definitely going to be a celebrity-packed wedding. You're going to have some, you name it. You've got the Kardashian, A-list celebrity, Tom Brady, Leonardo DiCaprio. They also said Orlando Bloom's going to be there, who, if the rumor mill is true, and I'm just saying this is what's been in the rumor mill, that him and Katy Perry have split. Now, rumors, I haven't heard anything come out that it has been confirmed from either one of their camp, but I mean, that does sound like a very fun-filled party, and you name it, there's going to be a lot of people there, and I can't wait to see the pictures. I'm sure they're probably going to be in all the magazines like Us and People, you name it. I'm sure they're going to be all over the place, but it's going to be gorgeous. I want to see the dress. I want to see the fanfare. So there was one little thing about the yacht that there might have to be a little bit of a change in plans, but we shall see. But no matter what, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of security, but it is going to be a gorgeous wedding. So congratulations to the future couple. And I can't wait to see the pics. But Venice is booming. That is for sure. But I can't wait to see the pictures. I bet her dress is going to be amazing. And of course, I want to know who is going to be there. It's going to be a little bit of who's who in Hollywood and Silicon Valley and you name it. I mean, probably politics. You name it. Everybody's going to be there. Now, let's get over to what's happening in the court world. Last time we were together, we were waiting the verdict of the Karen Reed retrial. Oh, yes, it is here. And what did you think? First of all, we talked about it. Closing statements. Amazing. And by the way, what about oops, my bad, about the whole sweatshirt thing from the prosecution? Interesting. But great closing statements. Okay, whatever you thought. I thought they were good at closing statements. A little dry on the prosecution. As I have told you, Alan Jackson, phenomenal, theatrical, dramatic. I felt it. Wonderful. Well, we got the verdict I think everybody was expecting, right? She was found not guilty on second-degree murder. I definitely saw that one coming. She was found not guilty on the lesser charges, but was found guilty of an OUI, which is a DUI, but it's operating under the influence. And about a year probation was suggested and a program, but we shall see when she is sentenced on that. But yeah, not guilty on the major charges, and she was found guilty on an OUI. But wow, what an incredible case. You know, the anticipation for the verdict And well, and also after that, then as we wait for the jurors to come out and speak, whether it may be on an on-camera interview or in a magazine or newspaper, but when they finally do, it's always kind of interesting to see their perspective. You know, did they hear the same things that we see? Did they have the same views? Did they have the same emotion that you and I felt watching it from the outside there in the courtroom? Did it kind of change things a little bit being in the room? And well, the jurors have spoken, and no, they said and felt and heard everything you and I and the rest of us were watching. They felt that the investigation was botched. This is what some of the jurors were saying. Something was a little unusual there. But quite frankly, it was just a bad investigation. And they felt that the prosecution really didn't present a strong enough case to fully convict this woman. So therefore, not guilty of the major charges and guilty of the OUI, which is come on, facing second-degree murder and then only walking out with an OUI. That's pretty remarkable ending for a day. Wow, what a comeback. But I cannot wait to see her interviews, and there's going to be some. I can't wait to see the upcoming movies, and you definitely know there's going to be some. What is it going to be? Who's going to hit first? Netflix? HBO? I don't know. Peacock? Peacock's coming in strong with some of those movies now and again. So I don't know. I'm ready for it. But who are they going to have play Karen Reed? Who are your thoughts? I have I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. Now I got to think of the cast. Who is going to be the cast of this movie? Because it's going to be good. It is going to be good. And how are they going to take artistic liberty of what actually happened, at the scene of the crime? But I just hope something happens where some way, somehow, there is definitely justice for the cop's family. There is still a victim at the end of the day. We still don't have answers to his passing, and there's hopefully that they can get some answers and some closure to this terrible, terrible situation for this family. But Karen Reed, not guilty, but fascinating. Just a fascinating case to watch. What is the next one going to be? What is it? Is it going to be the Mangione case? Is it going to be the Idaho murder cases? Because that's all coming up soon. I don't know. Are cameras going to be in the courtroom in either one of those cases? We shall see. But one major high-profile case closes. Now we have a couple more other ones down the bend. Here, let's get into the Sean Diddy case, because that's another one. And whoa, the twists and turns. We've had 6 weeks of testimony. 34 witnesses have taken the stands. Prosecution rested. And in a surprise fashion, there were a little bit of murmurings online that maybe the defense could rest its case without calling any witness. We definitely had a feeling that Combs himself was not going to take the stands, and he did not. No. But it's definitely for the best. But they didn't call anyone. Not one. So what does that tell you? Well, this is just my take, but they must have, this is my opinion, that the prosecution presented such a weak case that they didn't need to prove anything. There was just too much doubt already. There's too much doubt. So, I don't know. Pretty intense testimony, definitely emotional testimony, sensitive material that had been presented in these 6 weeks. But is it enough to convict him of these major crimes of like racketeering, sex trafficking? I don't know. But evidently the defense is like, well, we don't have to do anything here because that's how bad your case was. That's my take. I don't ever recall ever seeing that. Please let me know. any cases in history where that has happened, like high profile celebrity cases is really kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know what is going on with my mic right now. It keeps dropping. But I can't remember a case where the defense is like, yeah, we're good. We settle, Your Honor. We rest, the defense rests, Your Honor. Well, actually, they got it for a half hour and then rested. Not one witness call. I was floored. I couldn't believe it. Like I said, I had heard stuff. I'm like, there's no way. They're going to call someone, right? And at least something. Give us something. Just a half hour. There you go. And we rest. The defense rests. So closing arguments will start today. When will we get the verdict? We have a holiday coming up. Is that, you think that will affect it, speed it along? Because I definitely think the weekend kind of, hurried the verdict along in the Karen retrial. That's my opinion. My opinion. I think the pending weekend might have, we're like, guys, we've got things to do. We've been here long enough. I'm hungry. I want to have dinner with my family. I want to enjoy a weekend out. It's what I think. I wonder if that might have some little effect on the verdict in Diddy's case. They might be like, look, guys, it is 4th of July. I want a slushy. I want, some hot dogs and French fries. I need to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I wonder if that's what they're doing. So just little thought off to the side there. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. That's been a long time. And does the jury think that the prosecution actually didn't present a strong enough case and would come back in a relatively quick turnaround and say, you know what, we're here with the verdict. We're ready. We got it. Is it going to be a quick turnaround? I don't know. This has been another really, really, I find just quite a perplexing case. It has, they went in and you really thought this is going to be kind of with the evidence that has been thrown around in the news and social media about the lube and the oil and the honey and, and the videos and the other people coming into the party and all that stuff. You're like, wow, that does sound pretty damning. Like, that's a lot of evidence. And now, as we've moved along in the case, you're just like, well, is that enough? Does that even prove the charges? I don't know. So let's just see. But TikTok, I think it's going to be a quick verdict. I do myself, my opinion, but let's go. My apologies. Cold, watery eyes still too. So I don't know, but if he gets off, will he come back? I don't know. I don't know. And what are his legal fees going to cost? My gosh. Who knows? The Karen Reed retrial, we kind of knew what the verdict may be. I felt that watching the verdict that I kind of had an idea where the jury may go with the verdict, in my opinion. Others may have a very different opinion, but this one, I don't know. We shall see. But if he gets off, if, I definitely think he's already condemned in the court of public opinion. No question. You cannot unsee that video. It is just horrific. Cassie being beat in that video in the hotel, fleeing on that elevator. That girl didn't even have shoes on. Fleeing. She was fleeing. You cannot unsee that video. It is burned into everyone's memory. Oh my God. Horrible. But that's not what he's on trial for. And will he get off? I got to tell you, we shall see. But who knows? Crazy stuff's happening in the courtroom. So let's just see. And speaking of crazy, if you go over to Netflix, and this is kind of getting to the world of politics, because man, has politics been crazy. It has been all over the place. And again, I keep giving kudos and a tip of the hat to the journalists out there and anchor men and women, because they're reporting the news and the news is just changing. They'll be reporting and be like, oh, pardon me, hold on. We have an update. And breaking news again. I used to always give the news outlets such a hard time for, okay, guys, breaking news. You can't really call it breaking news when it happened last night or 2 days ago. That's not breaking news. Well, they get to use that ticker and breaking news. I don't know, Chiron that's flashing on the bottom, you name it, whatever the ticker, whatever you want to call it. That thing is going all over the place and they just can't even keep up. So good work to you, but it is just madness in the world of politics. So let's just skip right over that because there's a lot to get into there. We're going to save that for the next show. But if you go over to Netflix, it's comical and crazy documentary called Mayor of Mayhem. And it is about the former mayor of Toronto called Rob Ford. And I remember a little bit about this guy just because he was a joke on late night TV and there were memes about him because you would see him up at like the newsstand going, I did not smoke crack. That wasn't me with a crack pipe, and said some other things, some other foul things. Like you see clips of this man at a news conference just spewing vulgarities. No, I mean, I had never in my life heard some of the things that came out of this man's mouth. And I got to tell you, Trump just dropped some F-bombs the other day. That doesn't even compare to what this man said. He dropped the P word, starts with the P and ends with the Y, right on camera. Like you just see journalists like, what? In complete shock, just flabbergasted and awe. And I was too. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I guess it didn't make it on American mainstream media. I don't remember that. But it was just insane. This guy's scandal, how he just went absolutely bonkers when the scandal in the courts, the whole trial and court fiasco happened with him, and how he was asked to leave his seat and he wouldn't leave his seat, and just madness. Absolute madness. It was a quick watch. If you love the craziness of politics, please go to Netflix and watch the Mayor of Mayhem. Again, it was about the mayor of Toronto. It's about 2013, I think, was the year when all this kind of happened. And following that, and yeah, funny. Unfortunately and sadly, he ended up passing away. He ended up getting cancer and passed away from that, and just shortly after all the kind of scandal broke. But he had a following, and no matter the scandals, he still had his supporter. People loved him. People loved him. Like, I don't care. Yeah, he had a scandal and some were embarrassed and some turned, but he had a base. Sound familiar? And he may have marked fake news before Trump. So go back and watch Mayor of Mayhem, Netflix, the parallels of then and now. Huh. So now let's work our way over to Hulu. Have you been watching 9 Perfect Strangers? Well, now they're all into the treatment, and well, they be tripping. They are tripping their balls off, and some of the scenes are hilarious. But I gotta tell you, Masha girl, you crazy girl. Okay, and Martine, this last episode, ooh, who tripping now? Now, I was reading an article. Oh God, please. Oh, I forget the name of the article. I'll have to look that up. But somebody describe Martine's little well, I should say full meltdown when after the whole seizure, spoiler alert, seizure incident after he gave a terminally ill woman who did not disclose her illness, but he gave her some of the meds. She had a pretty severe reaction. She went into a seizure and it's pretty serious. And Martin tripped out afterwards. And then he went full on mad into the lab and started just kind of mixing and taking everything and let loose. Let's just say, like, he was just like, I had so much fun. But who was it? This article I was reading that one of the journalists said that Martine like went full Norman Bates on everyone. I'm like, you know what? That is a person. He did go full Norman Bates. Yes, he did. I laughed out loud when I heard this. I'm like, yes, he did go full Norman Bates. Like, that is, yep, that's pretty perfect. I really like the deep scenes where they're reconnecting. I love how the puppeteer and the nun are bonding. The gig is up. Now the gig is up, and everybody, the pianist going, am I an oracle? I knew you were bringing me to some whack place. I knew it. I'm like, yep, that would have been me. That would have been me because I'm always suspicious about all that stuff. So she was right. And where will it go? And now she just drugged the head guy. So let's see where that goes. Now, if we work over to some of our favorite shows in Bravo, let's get into it because Bravo, you've been spitting them out like it is like a sprinkler on a hot summer day. Now, Atlanta. Haven't talked about Atlanta for a little while. And, well, that's because I didn't find that there was really a lot to talk about. I really haven't been that into Atlanta this season. I'm sorry, lady. Still a little pissed about Kenya. You want to know why? Because Britt is not bringing it. You guys backed her. I think you may have backed the wrong person. Situation's still not good. What happened to her with the whole pictures and bringing up her past? But I'm going to say it again. If I recall, I feel like we've seen worse on Bravo. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my memory's serving me wrong. But I feel like we've seen worse. So I don't think Britt's bringing it. Kelly, I'm getting a little bored with Kelly. But their fight was interesting at the end, you know, when they were there for the fashion show. Phaedra, your boys are adorable. Cynthia, I'm liking you being back, Cynthia. I'm enjoying it. Shamia, please stop singing, but I get you with the whole greasing your skin down. I'm an extra moisturizer. I get it. I love it. I'm with you there, Shamia. But the fight at the end where the girls were at the walk, right? That was a good fight. But let's work our way. Let's backtrack a little bit. Let's backpedal a little bit. Because can we get to the William and Sonoma waffle off? Okay? With Mr. Charles Oakley and Kelly. And who was that guy, Marcus? Fully mic'd, by the way, who comes up to Miss Angela, our darling Angela, who everyone loved, who's definitely a fan favorite this season. Great first season, Miss Angela. Again, not a lot of people brought it this season. You slid us under the radar, Miss Angela, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot, and you turned out to be great first season. But now, provoking Mr. Charles Oakley, the Mr. Bad Boy of the Bulls? No, no, no. You have picked a fight with the wrong person, young man. Okay? Young man Marcus, who comes up to Miss Angela at the tables as she was eating her man's waffles. Another no-no. That is a no-no. She's there to support her man and a friend. She's eating this waffle. She's cheering him on, and you're going to come up and interrupt her and say, "You don't know me, but I want to talk to you about things that your husband's doing." Now, evidently, the rumor mill's been going around. So some of the women say about Mr. Barkley. But so this guy comes up and says, "Miss Angela, you don't know me, but I'd like to talk to you because I think there's some things that you would like to know about your husband." He comes in to my, I guess, restaurant, bar, whatever establishment, and you might want to know some things. And she's like, "Do I know you?" No. And they shoo him off. And then, like a minute later, you see him going, "Cheers." They're all cheersing and doing shots. "Cheers if you are cheating on, if you're cheating with Mr. Oakley and your name is Angela." Something to that effect. And I was like, "Oh, no, 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 this is not going to go well." And then next week, there's supposed to be a slight confrontation. This is not going to go well. Good thing he did not hear or didn't act like he heard you on this episode. Good thing he was behind the sizzle of the griddle. That's a good thing. Yes, but do not come from Mr. Oakley. I love the whole lead-in. Thank you to the editors with the prepping, how they're getting ready for the waffle off, and you see him smoking the cigars. Charles Oakley going, "I don't need to get ready. I'm always ready. I stay ready. That's why I'm ready." Smoking a cigar. I'm like, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, that's great. And then you have Kelly's little girls cheering her on. I'm like, yes, that was cute. I like that. But I don't know who that shady little guy was at the Williams Sonoma. Thank you, Kelly, for escorting him out. But we do find out at the model show that Angela and Charles found out who that guy was and who sent him there. And they said he was paid to be there. So the plot thickens. I like it. Now, Kelly and Britt, they had a little spat and they had a falling out over the glam team. Another glam squad fallout. Why does this constantly happen on these shows? Too much conflict over glam squad. And who was it? I think it was Angela, and who else was with Angela on Watch What Happens Live the other day? Cynthia. They both look great. And she was like, "You should never have a glam squad. I thought that was a bad idea from the get-go, and it never works. It didn't work. Bad idea." She was right. Cynthia knows. Listen to Cynthia. She's been around these women for a long time. Cynthia has wisdom. Okay? Listen to mama. Okay? She knows. And Cynthia, you are just the right amount this season. So I like it. But the girls are all there. You know, Angela's telling Cynthia about what happened at the Waffle Off at Williams and Sonoma. Okay. By the way, those chicken and waffles look delicious. And the Banana Foster ones look mighty fine too. I'm going to say, I don't know which one I would have liked better, but I wanted to try both. I was salivating during that whole segment there. So good. And then, of course, I kept panning in the background because Williams and Sonoma has really good stuff. They have good shot. Love it. And so that whole scene. But then, so here we are at the model session. Everybody's in the prep room, and Angela's telling Cynthia about that. Britt walks in, and everybody's already else kind of knows the tension, what's going on with Kelly and Britt about the whole breakup with the glam squad. But Britt walks in, she's like, "Hey, Kelly," and Kelly just is non-responsive. And she's like, "Okay, all right." So Britt takes this as green light, and she starts going in and starts doubling down, and they get into it. And it turns into an ugly, ugly place. She starts talking about it and how she can't have afford the glam squad. And she's taking her glam squad, and she's not authentic, and she wasn't there for her when she's going through a divorce, and she's not a good friend. And when Britt threw out the whole abortion situation, I was like, oh no, like that's a no zone. That is a no zone. So I did not like that. That one might get you in a lot of trouble. I think that's a no-go. That should have gotten somebody taken off. Not Kenya. Can we get Kenya, please? Can somebody call Kenya back? Anybody? Call Kenya, please. Call Kenya. Now, that was Atlanta. Miami. Speaking of crazy, Alexia, girl, what are you doing? Get rid of Todd. Stop going back. Do not let the pendulum keep swinging back to Todd. Don't let it happen, which is Todd. But Alexia always is like, I can't say an American name, so I call him Todd. So Todd it is. So she keeps going back to this is messy. It's ugly. She's very confusing on the situation. Following this last week's episode, she was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, and Andy Cohen was like, what is going on? Are you with Todd? Are you not with Todd? And nobody can get a clear answer. Like it changed every minute. 1 minute we're not. She said that they were recently into it. And, that happens. And I still think Adriana had a very interesting statement. She's like, I think in the Latin culture, sometimes we forgive our men too easily. And even though it hurts us. So I feel for Alexa there, but girl, this is just ugly. It is ugly and you need to move on. And I'm just reading nasty statements that he's putting out about Alexia. Like, what did he post in an Instagram statement that, she didn't bring much to the table? I'm paraphrasing here. Like, she didn't bring much to the table and she only wanted stuff out of it. So gross. Go away, Todd. And, every woman is going to see how nasty you are. Okay. Nobody's going to be falling for those dreamy blue eyes anymore and that silver fox hair of yours. Not going to happen. They're going to be like, Todd the asshole. That's Todd from Miami. Todd the dick. Nobody's going to want you, Todd. So Alexia, get gone, and say goodbye to that guy. Get him gone, girl. Please. It was a very cute scene with Marisol and her husband, Steve. They finally tied the knot. You see him going down on a little Vespa down the street in her little bride and veil. Cute, super cute scene there. But Julia, what is happening with you this season? And it really comes out in a super hideous scene and way at the end of this episode at the restaurant. And poor Marisol's party. I felt bad for Steve, and good for the restaurant for kicking you out. So I told you guys, I'm Team Gertie on this one. This girl is in recovery. She's in remission. She's talked about her radiation. She's talked about her chemo treatments. She is just stepping out from the other side of this extreme situation she was confronted with. And let her, Russell, and their family enjoy this moment and her health together. And the fact that she's coming back into this season healthy, and trying to get strong, and you guys are attacking her and going after her, it kind of makes me sick to even observe this. I don't like watching it, and it's really kind of pissing me off. Julia, what has happened to you? What's happened to you? Larsa, why am I slightly okay with Larsa a little bit this season? I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. Am I under some spell? I don't know. I don't know. What happened there? Larsa's saying some kind of funny things once in a while, a little humorous. She's given Lisa a little bit of decent advice, although still petty is why we kind of like it. That whole scene last week in Milan with the airplane, with the sharing the one cab and refused to speak. Then as Lisa's on the catwalk, and Larsa and her friend are taking selfies off to the side. Oh, very disrespectful, especially next to Jody. Didn't like that. Kind of funny though. A little funny. I mean, if anybody can do petty, Larsa can do petty. Larsa can do petty. Preston, yes, you did do excellent. You did an excellent walk. But then the whole scene where Larsa was poor mouthing Lisa in front of the designer. Come on, Larsa. But that was funny. But I think they're kind of maybe working their way a little bit back together. I don't know. But she had some decent words at the end, and she actually had some decent words to Alexia the other day, or excuse me, Alexis. Why do I say Alexia? To Alexis, when she was like, "You need to." I don't know what's happening, but you need to find your inner strength and get rid of Todd. Like this is not good for you. So I like that. So why? There you go. Thumbs up for Larsa this season. Who knew? I don't know. I feel like I've got like fairy dust sprinkled in my face. I've always been so anti Larsa, kind of like I'm anti Kyle. Don't come back next season with you, Kyle fan. I don't know. It'll be my lucky year. I don't know what's happening, but Julia is just been going after Gertie, and it came out a little bit more this episode. And Julia, it is not coming off well for you. You look really, really cruel and just kind of vicious a little bit. You have a little bit of this air of extra confidence this season. You've meshed well with some of the other women in the group. You're feeling a little bit high on yourself, and sure, great, go for it. You're feeling good that you've been steady running in several seasons. You've got 2 new babies. You and Martina Navratilova, you guys seem to be in a good place, and good for you. Life seems to be going well right now, but you've got it on hard for Gertie, and I don't like it. You're just being mean. You're being petty. You're being a little vindictive. I don't like it. And it came out at poor Marisol's wedding dinner. Oh, poor Marisol. I felt bad for Marisol. Again, what's happening? I felt bad for Marisol. Like, it was embarrassing. Like, they acted poorly. Like, everybody can give Gertie shit, but what's Gertie supposed to do? Just take it? I don't know. I don't know. Again, Kiki, still my favorite. Kiki is my favorite ever. Team Kiki. But I don't like how they're going after Gertie. I didn't think Gertie should take it. Gertie, yeah, she got pissed. She got a little bit, she had a moment where she lost her cool. But Julie threw a freaking full glass of something in her face, some substance, and just all over Gertie, all over everybody else at the table. And, well, you know why? Well, Gertie let it slip that when they were doing this whole cruise thing, one of the reasons that she had to go the last minute is Martina had a little medical scare. She didn't even say what it was. Julia, you did. She just said she had something come up medically. That's all she said. Julia's the one that put it out there about this whole biopsy and this and that. And she was like, you needed somebody. I was there for you. And Julia, I think Julia was really twisting this. Like, of course, everybody's going to want to hang out with Captain Sandy on the boat, I don't know. I thought that whole fight was ridiculous. I thought you were really blowing it out of proportion to really amp up some fight that you want to create to make some story on this season. And I think Gertie was really kind of shutting down, and it made you look so bad, Julia. You look like the biggest asshole. I thought, my opinion. You just kept saying, you don't understand. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. And she was like, I actually was there for you. You needed me. I was there for you. And I really kind of just came back, and I really should have been with my family, but you said you needed me. I felt bad for you. I was there for you. And now you're going to tell me that you're mad about it almost a year later when we've had plenty of time to discuss this. You never even gave me any inclination that you were upset or mad or frazzled at any of this. And now you're coming out like you are just absolutely devastated by the way it was treated you, and it's bullshit. And yeah, it is. And the way Julia got up and threw her glass, sorry, been there, done that. We did it with Housewives of Orange County when Tamara threw wine and was it Jenna's face? Was it Jenna's face? Kina, her name. Remember that? She had the wine. We've had it with other people. Teresa's already flipped a table. I mean, come on. Oh, wait. And Lisa Renna, hello, in Amsterdam with the glass. Please now. Please. Been there, done that. There's no flair on that. There's no flair. There's no scene catching in that, Julia. You just look bad. So, in this one, yet again, Team Gertie. So, Miami, thank you for bringing it so far this season. The Valley. Oh my God. We're going to get into the Valley next episode. Fuck Jax. That guy is an asshole and he should be off TV. I was reading that after this last episode of the Valley, he was on Watch What Happens Live. And then following that, there was this online petition to get Jax Taylor off TV. And you know what? Send it to me. I will sign. He looked like, oh my God. Like this man just cannot get any lower. I want to see my kid. I haven't even seen my kid. I haven't seen my kid. But then they're doing these little clips of him getting his hair done and Botox and still hasn't seen his kid. And him getting out of rehab. Oh my God. I felt so bad for poor Brittany. I don't feel bad for Brittany that too often, but I definitely did in this episode for him coming out. Like that man came out like the Tasmanian devil, like a full tornado, just gunning for her, pissed off. He's got a new place, hasn't paid the mortgage on their house, which I have read. I don't know how true that is, that it might be in foreclosure. Okay. So he hasn't paid it in months. She's just finding this out. She has an Airbnb. What a terrible situation he's left her in. Oh God. So thank you, Brittany, for serving him. Good for you. It's nice to see him being served. And Tom Schwartz, get a backbone. Get a backbone. But I want to get into the Valley. I want to get into Below Deck. Frasier, what's happening? The wheels are about to come off the wagon with this crew and the deck crew. And Captain Kelly is getting a little bit pissed about it. So let's get into it all. But we're going to have to get into that next episode. But that is it for us today on PoliWine. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please follow us at Instagram at PoliWine Time. And please follow, like, and subscribe to PoliWine wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks so much and have a great day. See you soon. Bye.